Cryptech, you call me by, that's my TG username. That's what people know me as. So Cryptech is
Tech.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. And did you have a name you want to be called on the Alpha Crypt?
You can just call me AC.
AC. Okay. Cool. Okay. If you're ready, guys, I'll get started. Introduce you, and we can go into the Bet2Bank project.
Sure thing. Yeah, definitely. So let's go. Looking forward to it.
A warm welcome, everybody, for this Welcome Talk Spaces. I'm Glenn, your host. Today we have joining us Bet2Bank. It's betting as a service platform and P2P custom betting dApps. We'll be going into everything around the Bet2Bank project shortly. But first, before we start, tell us about yourselves and how you got involved in the crypto industry.
Okay, sure thing. So, originally, I actually got involved. Kind of a cliche. I got involved back in the day when the Bitcoin white paper was first released, and I got involved in crypto very early because of the whole decentralization. There were certain things that Bitcoin was used for back then, which I thought was a good step a step in the right direction in terms of when decentralization was pretty much a brand new thing in terms of blockchain based decentralization, and Bitcoin first came out. I was very interested, and I got involved and did a bit of research. Got involved with trading Bitcoin, and sold them all way too early, like a lot of us probably did. And I just traded for a few years, and then I ended up kind of just due to personal life reasons and in real life jobs and whatnot, getting out of it for a few years, up until two or three years ago, when I came back into the scene, just trading more like blue chips, on CEXs and whatnot. And then a couple of years ago, I got into the Ethereum blockchain in terms of like the shitcoin space, as it were, as we call it. I started on the BSC, and back in the days when Shiba Inu first came out and whatnot. And since then, pretty much in a nutshell, I've met many good people, met many good connections, built up a lot of experience in terms of how the space works. And what I do on the side, just to give you guys a bit of an insight, is I do it ties in with the marketing questions for this AMA, but I do help projects with listings. I provide marketing services and whatnot, and that's kind of what I do generally. Before I launch this project. But yeah, I'll hand it over to AC as well, so he gets a chance.
Cool. Yeah, I also got into BTC originally when I was, trying to use the dark web, and I also liked the idea of the privacy and not using government. And then from there, I was actually one of the early Ethereum buyers. I just saw it as a big opportunity, so I played around on Ethereum. I didn't really get into the coding until later on, when I was like, wow, this is a big opportunity to learn this new industry, because most people weren't familiar with the language. So I started learning a little bit of Solidity, started making contracts, started being a little bit more in the community meme coin space, while still trading some of the bigger caps. But I found it a lot more rewarding and fun to be making projects and working with teams and like trying to do innovative ideas. Do some fail? Of course. But the successes and the joys of making a project go to multiple millions of market cap is one of the greatest feelings in the world. So that's why I quit my old job and just keep pursuing the opportunity to work with base teams, good devs, and good ideas, because that's, to me, the most rewarding thing you can do in the crypto space.
Okay, thank you very much, Cryptech and AC, for the introduction there. You launched just over a week ago, and so maybe we can go over what's been happening for the first week and the Bet2Bank projects for the spaces. Give us an introduction.
Sure. I'll take the lead there. So we did launch just over a week ago. We actually launched for what was intended to be what was and what still is a platform, a software to use purposely, for the sole purpose of anti-bot protection and making a fair launch. So we had a few hundred people in the Telegram. I've never been a fan of fair launches in terms of hyping up a Telegram and just dropping a contract, because I'm sure there are lots of developers out there and projects that launch that don't do it for that reason. But anytime I see that kind of project being launched, for me it's kind of like a red flag. But recently I came across software called Launch Shield. I got to know the dev of it a little bit, and I looked into the tech. So we did decide to use Launch Shield as a way of bringing hype to the launch, but obviously evading the whole sniping and whatnot situation. We did have a little bit of an issue at launch, which I won't go into too much, but let's just say due to a lot of the supply, basically, part of it was due to the supply that we had vested for our seed sale, because we did have a seed sale. Due to that supply being put to the side, also the staking supply, the supply that's reserved for future listings and whatnot. Obviously, that left. AC will tell you a bit more. I mean, he's the deployer. He's the dev. But in terms of like the way that we launched, my method was to use this software to get everyone a good entry, and to create a way of doing, to use it to fair launch in a way that's not really being seen in the space. I mean, some other projects have launched via similar kind of platforms, anti-snipe platforms, and I've seen some succeed and some not do so well. So I chose to use it, and I posted the link, the URL, in the Telegram chat 1 minute before, it went live. To be as transparent as possible, and just so that it's a complete fair launch. If you have a look at the chart, you can probably see a huge wick. I mean, I just couldn't believe what went on. It went to I think it was like $6 or $7 million market cap within seconds. Turns out there was a lot of hype. There were people that were setting their gas high and all this kind of stuff. And there was a big mix up. People were saying, including myself, I was furious at the time, and I want to say this publicly because I was very publicly angry at Launch Shield themselves and whatnot. I won't go into it too much, but due to my own the discovery of my own investigations and whatnot, as far as I can investigate with my ability, I found out there was no malicious intent on Launch Shield's behalf. It was the low supply that was available, plus some people knowing kind of how to. There was no bots got in. There was, the software worked as it should, but there were a couple of little issues which Launch Shield have gone on to fix. For example, there's a countdown, so it says 30 seconds, 29, 28. It wasn't working, so everyone had to kind of like refresh it before they bought. And it's, I didn't even get an entry myself on it. So there was a big initial, big pump and dump, and it was all crazy and whatnot. And a lot of people, including myself, I did Launch Shield. Now I'm not here to say that it
Let's
was,
start anyway. It's in
yeah.
the
So
past.
I just wanted to
Let's yeah.
just wanted to cover that, because that's very important for me to point out there that yeah, we used that. That was a very. I'm passionate about my own project, and I wanted the best for it, and we used that software for that reason. And in the end, it turned out all right. And we had a low circulating supply at the start, so that's what it was. Some people got big bags for low amounts. And we recovered from that. We found a steady floor, didn't we, AC? And it's been great since, really. And obviously
Yeah.
the distro is a lot better, and whatnot. But yeah, AC, you take the mic, and tell everyone a little bit about what's happened over the last couple of days in terms of the seed sale and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk more about our product and why I think BXB is really going to be a mover in the space. Basically, I think we had a little bit lack of buy pressure. People were worried about seed sale allocation, which tends to happen with the pre-sale. So we just decided to go ahead and end that and just give everyone their allocation ahead of time. If people wanted to dump their bags, we gave them that opportunity. And so there's a little bit of flush on the chart, so we can able to rebuild. We actually mimic that strategy from another very successful coin, Amplify. They were having a similar issue, so they just decided to release the whole supply to the pre-sale vesting. And then after they were able to do that, the chart was really able to send. So we were able to bring in new investors. So we had the same thought pattern here. The price action hasn't been the best, but we're here not because of price action. We're here because we're building something very unique. BXB can be one of the premier platforms. We're offering a very unique utility. Right now, it's already live, which is the ability to place your own bets. I want to bet on something, I place the bet, and if someone wants to take the bet, they take the bet. It's a lot different than a normal sports betting experience where the bookie just takes your bet. Here, anyone can bet against each other, and that's what I was saying earlier when I first got into Bitcoin, Ethereum, this decentralized aspect. That's what really drew me into this project, because I get offered to work on a lot of projects, but I want to work on projects that I think are unique and have a use case. So like
Hmm.
centralized betting here, like that's something that's super exciting. Like
Hmm.
getting, oh, I want to bet on this game tonight. Who else wants to bet with me? Who's my audience? Potentially the
That's it.
entire world, you know? So
Exactly.
yeah.
I
So what do you
just like
guys
to add
think?
to that as well.
Yeah.
I'd just like to add to that as well. And in terms of the P2, when people hear, I mean, it's become quite a trend now, for projects to launch, Gamble5, P2P, cryptocurrency, decentralized betting. But we are different from a lot of other projects, because we're not just basically taking the UI of traditional betting website, and forking it and then making these bets available, pulling the API and then making these bets available, but in cryptocurrency. We're not doing what a lot of other projects are doing. We have something completely unique, and that is like AC's just mentioned, our P2P custom bets, which basically, to be more technical, because we've got a new audience here. People are going to go onto our DApp after this, and people, hopefully will like it and use it. So far we have the P2P options. You'll see, apart from football, we only have one boxing option on there at the moment, which is the big fight tomorrow. There will be a lot more sports integrated into that. But for any of you that haven't used it, haven't read the white paper or whatnot, the way it works is it's a 1v1 bet. So you go on there, you pick a football match or a boxing match or whatever it is, and you choose how much you want to put down. So if you want to wager 100 USDC, you enter 100 USDC. The home team, away team, you click that button, you click place bet. Obviously, approve transaction, and that goes through. If you're on mobile, you'll scroll down to the bottom, past all the betting options, and you'll see which bets are currently live and available to be contested. If you're on desktop, you'll see that all in one. They'll be on the right hand side. So if you see the button contest, that means that there's somebody who's wagered on a bet, and you have the ability then to go and put down that, challenge them basically. So if they put down $100 on let's say tomorrow, Fury to win the boxing, and it says contest, if you click that contest button, you're obviously going against them for that exact same amount. So just to make that clear, that's how it works. However, there is no limit to the amount of bets that can be made on any single match or any single game or sports event. So it is 1v1 each bet, but there can be an unlimited amount of open bets. So just wanted to make that clear, because I think that's really cool. That's not really being done at the moment. And yeah, it's what makes us different. That's live now, along with our staking. So we've got staking. You can stake your USDC for a 200% APR. Your rewards will be in the form of our token, our native token BXB. So that's the only pool that we have live on the DApp now. But we are going to be introducing more. I'm sure you guys will ask us about that later on in the AMA. But yeah, right now, dap.bet2bank.io, you've got your staking and your P2P bets currently. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, guys. So just going back to the start there, Cryptech, you were pointing out there were some problems. You're ironing the problems out. Many projects do have problems. It's how you deal with it, and you just forge on. So everything's settled. You're ready to sort of promote Bet2Bank and forge forward into the future. So that's great, and it's good that you're open and transparent about that. That's what investors want. They can rely on people that are passionate and build their projects. And it doesn't always go smoothly, but as long as everything works out. Which it has, which is fine. So let's just roll back a bit and start with what problems does Bet2Bank solve?
Well, besides the P2T betting, I think that solves a big space because, like, instead of sportsbooks giving you like their odds and you having to bet with someone else, I think the real use case, which we're already seeing, we're getting the bets, but like once we really perfect everything, you'll be able to make your own bets. Technically, anything. Technically, we can make a bet. Hey, I wonder if today a ball will get kicked into the stands at the Manchester United game. And then if someone wants to bet me on that, they can bet it. Because this is decentralized platform. There's no regulations necessarily, and there's no limit to what we can bet on. I can make a bet, and if it goes in there, it's up to the world to accept it. So that's what this unique P2P betting style. That's why I think this could really take off. Like getting it under $1 million market cap is insane. The potential for this is billions. The sports betting industry is a billion industry. I remember when I first used to do sports betting, I used to sports bet. You call some dude on the phone you never met, recommended from a friend, and then you'd have to worry about you paying him paying you. But this, now it's all done from software, decentralized, trust in the system. It's all going to work automatically. So that's a huge
Well,
use case.
of course, and I think one of the main problems it solves is quite obvious, but that's the question I've been asked is well, basically, for example, with our P2P bet. So these centralized. I'm not here to find any centralized kind of betting platform. There are many, many, many great ones out there, but with ours, it's on the blockchain, for example. Blockchain obviously creates a system where everyone can see what exactly is going on. So things can't be manipulated by one single, kind of like power or entity or whatever. There's full transparency on the blockchain, and just within this one product, which I want to make clear as well. We're focusing on it right now, talking about the P2P bets because they're live. That is just one of many products, but we'll get to that after. But for example, whoever puts down a bet now on our DApp, the money's held in escrow on the blockchain. It's completely secure. It's on the blockchain. It's transparent. So it does solve. It kind of solves that. There's no way for us to manipulate anything at all. It's all. The smart contract hasn't been audited yet, but halfway through KYC and with solidproof.io. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with them. So just got to complete the last part, which is the call with them tomorrow, and then they'll audit the smart contract. But even without it being audited, you guys can see, anyone that can read the blockchain can see, if that guy's put down that amount of money, it's held in escrow, and the other person's challenged the bet. The winners receive both parties' amounts, so they've 2x their money, and it's just completely secure, transparent, and I think that's the main problem that it solves. But also leading on to our other products that will be coming as well. I mean, so with betting, you usually this is why the bookies. I'm not sure if bookies is that a UK term, or do you US guys?
I say bookies.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, okay. So betting shops, let's say, or betting platforms. Essentially, like they in a short sense, they are centralized and whatnot. And they're always winning at the end of the day, let's say, right? So we haven't set our platform up to profit from our users betting on our platform. We've set this system up because it's unique. It's cool. It brings utility to our token. It brings it creates a part of the ecosystem that we'll go into shortly. And essentially, like with bookies or with betting shops or whatnot, whatever you want to call them, they are able to manipulate things and whatnot. Whereas here, we don't profit from anything. So there's no algorithm here that's created so that, you know, because at the end of the day, how does a betting company, a traditional centralized betting company, stay running and become that one day they're a startup company running out of a shed? 2 years later, their net worth, you know, they're worth billions of dollars. That's because they're making money, and you know, it's you know, it's like many other types of businesses as well, and whatnot. It's essentially kind of a Ponzi in itself. I mean, you know, whereas this is not. This this is giving people a way to bet, knowing that it's completely fair, and they have every single they have 100% chance of winning as long as they take the risks into account. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, Cryptech. So let's go into the P2P custom betting. So your odds are
Sure.
better than the competition because you're not taking a profit from the P2P bets. So the winner would take all. I take it. There's not any margins there.
That's
But
it.
how does the betting odds get set? So, cause say I set up a bet with other players, I could maybe go to another site and get a better price and sort of
No.
you know, skim some off the side. How does it work with the algorithms and the betting prices for what each person's going to offer each other for whichever sport they're betting on?
So it's just to make that clear. Sorry, we're referring to the. Are we still talking about the betting gap that we have that we just mentioned, or are we talking about the betting as a service product that we're rolling out soon?
It was around the P2P custom betting, yeah.
Yeah, ideal. Okay, so with that, I mean that it's not in the future. We do have plans to roll it out so that you can create your own odds and whatnot. But this is not something that we're going to talk about right now because that's not on our short-term roadmap and whatnot. So to address your question quite simply, is the odds are 2 to 1. So you double your money, and that it's as simple as that. Whatever you put down, someone will come along and challenge, and whoever wins takes the pot. That's as simple as that. It's 1v1 peer-to-peer bets. Simple as that. So you put $100 down on Man United to beat Liverpool, and I come along and think no chance. You know, Liverpool are going to win. I'm going to put $100 down. Whoever wins takes the pot. It's as simple as that. There's no way for us to profit from that, manipulate that, or whatnot. It's as simple as that. It just gives people a chance to place bets on what they. That's what betting is, isn't it? It's putting money down on something you believe is gonna you know, on a result that you think and you believe is going to be in your favor. And if it's in your favor, you get that return.
And what happens if it's a draw? Does that mean the bet's void? It's only a win or lose 2-1 type thing.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Thanks for pointing that out because that is actually not on the white paper. So it's obviously our white paper is going to be constantly updated, but it's a very, very good question. If it's a draw, both parties receive their funds back.
Okay, I see. And you've got the betting as a service as well. So you've got custom built bots, low risk betting on team sports. So as an investor, if I hold the token, I can use that bot to take low risk bets for me. And it mentions like single sports won't be included. Is that like tennis and snooker where 1v1? Because for me, that's quite low risk because it's 50-50. There's no draw in a 1-versus-1 sports.
Sure. No, you're a great host. No, these great questions to ask. Well, the reason I mentioned team risk sports mainly, in terms of the parameters that we set for that bot to be profitable for the users. Obviously, we have to take many things into account. Firstly, we set parameters on the odds that the bet the algorithm and the bot will automatically place bets on. So at the moment they are between 1.01 and 1.07. So basically, essentially between 1 and 7%. That's just one of the parameters. Another one is what kind of sport. We don't just so basically we use CloudBet as a their cloud-based server API, and we use them. We request our users to get an API key. Once they've got their CloudBet API key, everything else itself is done via our bot. And for example, if we were going to just like let our algorithm run on all bets, on via CloudBet, for example, okay, tennis. Roger Federer is playing. I'm not a big tennis fan, so Roger Federer might not even still be playing tennis. But Roger Federer is smashing another player. It's the last minute of the match. The odds of that. If you're a professional gambler, and that's what they do. You want to put down £1 million because you know that it's the last minute, and although you're only going to get 100 or let's say £10 or £100 back from your £1 million wager, it's not, because Roger Federer it's a single player sport. Roger Federer, all that happens is he goes and twists his leg or breaks his ankle, and boom, that's the end of it. Does that make sense? So single player sports are very risky in terms of they're very risky for. We use our bot to place low risk bets. Low risk bets does not just mean low odds. This is why we've taken a long time to develop this and not just throw it out there when the success rate was like 60 to 70%, because that still could have been quite a good number to throw out there to people and release the project at and the service at. But we've taken the time to narrow it down to many different parameters that bot has been set with, and one of them is the type of sports. Yeah. So for example, like obviously with team sports like football, handball, netball, I mentioned these for a reason as well. I'll tell you in a bit. The latter two I've mentioned aren't very popular commercially compared to football, but there are reasons why we use those. These have a much less. I mean, if every player on the pitch was to collapse, or the match got called off in the last minute because for example with football, if a team's up 3-0 and the odds are looking really, really good, that bot goes to place a bet on that sport, on that event, that football game, for example. The chances that could go wrong are extremely low. It's not just about the parameters of the odds that we set. It's about many different things. So without rambling on, I'll let you.
I see, Crypto. Yeah, I mean, I did do a bet once. It was a tennis match, and there was 1 versus 1, and it went 5 sets, and then there was no cut off, so you had to win by 2 legs at the end of the. It was funny. Couldn't lift their arms. I think they've changed the rules since. So in the next round, the guy who won, I bet against him and made like a couple of grand. So, but like you say there, someone could be injured. I didn't actually take that into account, so I was taking a risk there. If he was injured in the next match, it wouldn't have mattered how good. He would have forfeited the match and lost. So, how does this custom built bots work? What are they taking into account? Have you programmed into it? Are you sports people yourself on the core team? What were you looking at that's going to make it low risk and high rewards for investors in the future?
Okay, so the things that we've already touched on, the type of sports that. Okay, so for example, football's a very, very. It's one that's going to be used. When you run the script, you'll see the script running the bets. So you'll be able to see most of them will be football bets, because because football can be like for example, with handball and netball, we've done a lot of research as we've been building this algorithm and getting it ready. We're able to, well, okay, so I just want to say that our Web3 dev, our third core team member, isn't with us. He's traveled from Uruguay to Europe overnight, so he's the guy that makes all of that kind of stuff. I'm not the guy that wrote the script, but you know, I've been with him throughout the journey, and it's all three of our ideas. But yeah, I'm confident to talk on this because this is something that him and mainly myself and him, us two, have been working on, and he's been doing the coding of it. So, like, we found out that I never knew anything about handball or netball really until we start building this project. And like, there are certain tournaments that pop up in sports that you just wouldn't normally think of, where where as weird as it sounds, very high, let's say, very successful, high ranking teams get get put up against very amateur kind of level teams. Now, what this means for us is we're doing research in advance. So JIR, our Web3 guy, who also I just want to add in, he's very experienced. He's built some really apps for some really big projects like Dream. He did some work with the protocol and so some other big projects. He'll join us another time, and he can tell you a bit about that. But basically, like, we've been researching sports that we wouldn't have normally thought about. And we found that if we just let the bot run on parameters just solely based on low odds, it one, it can be more risky. But it will just basically wait for the last minute of football matches, really, let's say, because if you're a team's 3-0 up on a football match, and it's the last minute, the odds are just above even. That's the perfect type of bet that we want. However, we're able to, the reason why we're able to get it at the moment at an average sort of between 1 to 7% returns is because of these kind of weird tournaments in not so popular sports, where they place like good teams against bad teams, and we're able to pre-configure and preset those parameters to actually add those tournaments and those teams within those tournaments into the bots, into the algorithm before that tournament starts. Obviously that has to be done manually in advance, but that's because we're researching as we go. So what that means is we don't have to the bot doesn't have to wait till the last minute and for the team to be up by a significant amount. It can place a bet by data that's been collected now over the last kind of 3 to 4 months. It can place a bet on, for example, a netball match. One team is blatantly gonna beat the other team. We're not just gonna let the bot bet in the first minute of that game, even though we could be quite confident that match will have the outcome that we predict. But instead of waiting until like the last minute and for the odds to be just above break even, like 1.01, we can actually set the bot to run on these kind of events and these kind of tournaments where we can we can let the bot place slightly higher odds on bets because of what I've mentioned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, Cryptech. But I was wondering, which betting sites are you going to use? Are you going to use the big online bookies? And if you've got this sort of house edge, what's to stop these big platforms sort of banning you when you win too much money? I mean, obviously there's so many of them now, you can go to another one, but sure. I do know professional gamblers do get banned from these websites that are really good at always making a profit.
Yeah, of course. So basically, essentially, like each user has to make their own CloudBet account. Okay, so and then retrieve their CloudBet the CloudBet API. So initially, when we developed the algorithm, The reason why, if any of you that are listening, were here on day one, it has, I think it's been removed, but if you went to dat.bet2bank.io during the first 24 hours or so of launch, you would have seen that it directs you. The first thing you see, the landing page would say BAAS, and because we were initially going to roll out like a pooled betting as a service system, which we still are going to roll out, but because of what you just mentioned, we decided to go with an individual private Telegram bot where people can create their Cloudbet account themselves. They can deposit the USDC on Cloudbet, which is, an established, secure platform, and essentially the bot's not going to place 10 bets within the same second. It's going to place one after the other, but in quite quick succession. This has all been researched. This is completely within the terms and conditions of Cloudbet. It's individual users placing bets through their own account, as opposed to what we initially, a few weeks or about 2 months ago, when we developed this idea and the algorithm, and it started testing the odds, and it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of like a money printing machine. Obviously, we at first we didn't think of this, but then we realized that obviously, if we were to do, for example, like a staking pool, all users deposit their money into the same pool, and then we use that large amount of money to run the script. Okay, that itself is then going to draw attention. It's going to be something that's very clearly, it's not taking advantage of anything. It's still within the terms and conditions of Cloudbet, but do you know what I mean? It's going to stand out. It's going to be like, hold on, these guys are placing many bets in a row with large amounts of money, and they're always winning. What's going on here? That's one reason why we've gone with the individual.
You also have to remember that the sports books, even if we're winning, if there's other people taking the other side of the bet, they win anyway. It's a zero-sum game for them. They're just going to take the vig. So they're not necessarily going to shut us down unless we're betting obscure sports where they're not getting all the action, we're the only people betting. But if I'm betting player A and they're betting player B, or I'm betting Manchester and they're betting Arsenal, the sports book is going to make the vig no matter what. It don't matter to them. So what we're offering to our investors with this BAS thing is actual real yield. This is real DeFi. This ain't no Ponzi scheme. This isn't some unsustainable false promises. What we're doing is taking users' investment, taking our protocol, and giving us a way to make sustainable passive income. So when this is proven,
of course, but
and it works, the
sure.
use case.
Sorry, AC. Sorry to butt in there, buddy. Like you're making a really good point, which I'd like you to continue with. However, just to address the host question, which is a very good question, and this platform that I'm pleasured to this audience that I'm grateful to have a chance to speak to. I want them to fully understand the answers of the questions of the host. So this is completely legit in the sense that we are not okay. So I've already gone through one reason. Another way that we were going to do it was to essentially use the TG bot, but we would be making accounts, multiple accounts, on Cloudbet ourselves, so that it was more seamless for the user, and the user wouldn't have to do the first only manual part, which is create their own Cloudbet account, retrieve the API, put it into the bot. Okay, initially it would be nice, if a user didn't have to do that. But I mean, if we were to do it ourselves, then yes, of course, it would be flagged. It's like, these guys, there's I mean, we could change IP addresses and we could use relays, and but eventually, it's not legit. If one entity is creating multiple accounts under different usernames, email addresses, and whatnot, that is against the terms and conditions, and that is something that may last a little bit of time, or it may last a day, or may last a month. But we don't want to risk anything, because we're only doing things that will be fully sustainable. So that's why we've had people, some investors, seed sale investors, like when we kind of showed them the product, it's like not a concern, but okay, why do we have to go and make our own Cloudbet account? Why can't you just make that as part of the script? Well, this is why, because it keeps everything within the terms and conditions. It keeps everything legit, and it means that we can do this completely, not just legally, but I mean within the rules and the terms that Cloudbet have. Each individual user is setting their own account up, and they're depositing their own money directly into Cloudbet. Our script is just placing bets for them, and it's as simple as that. If we were to run it at a faster rate, so bets were being put, if it was obviously a bot being placing bets, like 10 bets were placed on one user's account at the same time, I mean, it doesn't take rocket scientists to work out that, that's a red flag. So we've thought about all of these things carefully, and I hope that comes across with my answers. So yeah, we've prevented anything like that from happening. Yeah, users have to go and make their own account and then come back to the bot. But once they've made their own account, it takes 5 minutes. The bot does everything else for them. Yeah. So with the pooled betting as a service, we have found a way to get around to doing that. But yeah, I won't go into that just yet. It's not answering your question, and it's probably given a bit too much away. So yeah, back to you, host.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I was wondering, so basically the bot's going to give me a recommendation, and then I go to the cloud and make the bet myself. So it's secure in that way, rather than me sending money to the bot.
Exactly.
Right, I see. Yeah, that's great. And then to use the services of the bot, you've got a free tier system holding the BXB token. Can we go into the free tiers and what you would need to use the bots and for the P2P betting?
Yeah. So initially, for example, now the products that are live, for example, our P2P betting DApp. Initially, now for the first day or two, we want people to interact with it and use it. And we want that volume to come to our platform. We want people to be in it and whatnot. So holders are able to actually use the service at the moment for the first, like, let's say few days, so that people, because at the end of the day, something so unique, something so new, some people don't have the money to go to. Some people have the money to get to gold tier, but maybe that's it seriously could be a large percentage of their net worth. Not everyone has that much money. So we want people to see that and experience the products first, and for the public eye to get on us before we actually really implement the tiers. But yeah, going back to the tiers. They're set up to give, obviously, a use case to the token, to bring volume to the token. And the betting as a service is kind of like our top tier product for now. And obviously that's a gold tier one, so it's like 50 million tokens plus. With that, you get everything. So you get your reflections. Everyone gets reflections, whether you hold 10 of our tokens or a max wallet. Bronze, which is like 10 mil tokens, you can just use the P2P betting. With the silver tier, which is 25 mil tokens, you get the reflections, P2P bets, you get to stake USDC, and with the gold tier, you get to do all of that, but then you also get to use the betting as a service bot as well. So yeah, I guess that answers that. Just to clarify as well, when the betting as a service bot is dropped, it's completely ready now. We're not going to announce when it's going to be dropped. Except all I'll say is it's going to be within the next week. That's as far as I'm going to go. We don't want people buying the rumor and selling the news. But yeah, right now you can use the P2P betting app, right, without holding 25 million tokens. Okay, on the website it says you need to. Right now we're giving people the chance to use our products without holding a specific number of tokens. But the day we drop the betting as a service private TG bot over the next few days, that's the day where the tiers will kick in, if that makes sense. So from then on, what you see on the website will be exactly what you need.
Okay, great. And you mentioned there, maybe you want to go into that, the pooled betting as a service in the future as well. How will that work for investors?
Okay, so the way that would work would be for investors. You could call it like it's like a staking pool. So you go on to it looked like the UI of a staking pool. So you go on there, deposit X amount of USDC, sorry, and obviously it's a communal pool. Now everyone then will profit, of course, in relation to the amount that they put down. So for example, if someone deposits $100, it's just like the way the reflections work. So the rewards will be redistributed in proportion to the initial amount that you put into the pool. So like I said earlier, okay, I'll tell you one thing, guys. So obviously, if we were to use like everyone's money all added up together, let's just say within the first month, there's $100,000 in that pool. If we're using 10% of that a day on each script, and we're running 5 scripts, so that's a lot of money, right? It's 96% success rate at minimum at the moment that the algorithm's working on. But if we were to lose one of those 4 times out of 100, which would happen, right? Yeah, because that's it's betting. It's not minting as a service. People would lose their money. So we've obviously not announced the contract. We've kept it flexible. The tokenomics will change in the future when there's a hard-coded tax, which I've hard-coded at 7%. So we can never raise the tax above that. But what we will do is we'll lower the USDC reflections. We'll move things around. I don't need to go into detail, but there's something called a loss insurance fund. So there'll be a significant percentage of the trading fees, which will be are being built up into what we call our loss insurance fund. So what that does is it's all calculated on the basis that if there's $1 million locked into that pool, that betting as a service pool on our DApp in the future, we won't be using that $1 million to run the script. No, we'll be using a certain percentage daily, and we'll be running it on X amount of scripts. Say five running the script 5 times with like $50,000 in each one, calculated in a way that rises over time. So obviously the tax accrued in our loss insurance fund at first is 0, and then it builds up. So at first the rewards will be very low because we have to keep it safe. But as the loss insurance fund grows and we're able to cover any potential losses, which is the reason it was designed, the loss insurance fund tax, as that grows, then we're able to then use more of the pooled money to make bets confidently, because we have the money to cover those 4 out of 100 losses. The last few days I've been running the bot. I'm on currently on 97.5% success rate, but yeah, we published it and I think in the medium at 96%. But yeah, so everything is really carefully, like we could have just dropped like the pooled BAS. We could have dropped the TG bot, everything on the first day, and it probably would have, everyone would have been talking about it. It would be insane, but we're not looking for short-term price action and and short-term hype. We're doing it in a way that's, we have passion and we really care about making this not just fully infinitely sustainable and safe, but yeah, secure. And we're building this on purpose slowly throughout the bear market. And we're not going to talk numbers, but we're ensuring that it's all done in a way that is sustainable and secure, safe, and let's just say it's well thought out. And I hope that kind of answers that
Yeah,
question.
Definitely crypto. And with the pool, are you going to keep it at a certain amount? Because like you make a big win in poker, then you go in a big tournament, and obviously then the math sort of changes because you've risked 5-10 times as much money. So would you sort of have a steady amount in the pool so that you're not raising massive bet, and then you lose, unfortunately, on the 3.5% odds of losing? So it's sort of the math works out.
Yeah, like I maybe didn't explain properly then. Yeah, so because of the mathematics that have been worked out, we'll be starting low, and if for example it all blows up and people start deposit, they start to use it a lot more, and excuse me, the total value kind of locked in that communal betting as a service pool contract starts to grow into the millions. No, we're not just going to start using those millions of dollars to run our script, because that would just be irresponsible. It would just be stupid, and it would just be, yeah, 90, so if there's potential that 96 times out of 100, yeah, it would work. But four out of 100 it wouldn't, and losing that amount of money is just not something that we could even think about risking. So yeah, it's all pre-calculated so that it's not set up like that. We'll be using small percentages of that pool, which means the rewards will start off small, but there will be a cap, of course, so as to how much that script, how much we'll put into the bot for the communal betting as a service. But this is something that is we haven't been talking about the communal betting as a service. This is the first time we've kind of publicly talked about it. There's no kind of information about that in the white paper. There's no mathematical. There's no, so watch out for that, guys. That's something that will be detailed. For example, our Web3 dev, if he was here now, he could give you even more detailed, give you some crazy maths that I wouldn't even understand as to how the algorithm works. But yeah, I can give you the the lowdown on it. But yeah, that's something that's we're not going to be dropping the communal BAS for at least a couple of weeks.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for giving us a scoop on the early part of the pool betting as a service. So let's go back to the P2P custom betting. So how do you bet against each other? Can you use stable coins, or is it the BXB token exclusively used for P2P betting? And how's it been going? Because you said it's been live for a while now.
Yes, so at the moment, sorry, AC, I've been rambling on. I'm good at that, aren't I? So yeah, at the moment we're keeping it as USDC. So you can bet with USDC. If someone asks, okay, so where's the what makes people buy BXB then? Well, because of the tier system. Like I said, at the moment, for the first few days, you don't have to hold the required silver level to use the bot. To use the DApp. You will in a few days' time, and that obviously it means people can base USDC is obviously a digital version of the dollar. It's pegged to the dollar, so it's a way of people betting like they would in the real world. Because if you're betting with with BXB, the price of, the volatility of cryptocurrency in general, never mind the shitcoin space, is so volatile that we want people to be able to bet with a stable coin and get their returns in a stable coin. Then they know what they're getting. They know what they're giving. They know what they're getting. They know what they can win. They know what they can lose. And then the tier system obviously gives BXB that buy pressure and whatnot. But also there's an ecosystem that's been the reason we're paired with USDC. Obviously, we have USDC reflections. So let's say you buy your BXB, you get reflections. Whether you want to add your own further USDC in or not, that's up to yourself. But let's say you use your reflections to put into the BAS bot, which is dropping in the next few days, and then you take your profits from that, and then in USDC also, and then you stake your USDC, which you can, for more BXB. You then have more BXB, which equals more reflections, and the cycle continues. We've got some really good infographics and stuff on that, but it's very simple, but very, not to blow my own trumpet, but it's very simple but very cool ecosystem. And that's for people that aren't essentially bet savvy. They don't have to know about the world of sports because they're not using the P2P betting side. They don't have to manually do anything. They just earn their reflections, put the money into the script, put the money into the bot. The bot generates their profit. They stake that and get more, and so it continues.
Okay, great, Crypto.
Yeah, if you want
want
to,
to jump in?
yeah, there's one. Have you the inspiration of this is like a flywheel effect. I don't know if you how familiar everyone on the listening is here with DeFi, but like Curve and these other protocols, we want to give it so the user has no incentive to sell, because as you're gaining rewards, you pump it back in, and that new tokens give you new rewards, which lead to more UGC, which you can pump back in. So it would be an infinite loop of other ending rewards. So with the volume, you can literally just hold these coins forever and just have an infinite money glitch. That's the inspiration where we took that kind of tokenomics from.
I see. And with this free tier system, is it adjustable if the BXB token is a 10x higher in price, so that it's going to be affordable in the future for everyone to get into the free tiers? And how does the stake your USD work? Is it locked, unlocked staking, and what's the APR and APY?
Okay, so the APR is 200% currently. There are no early withdrawal fees. There are no time currently. There are no time locks. So you don't have to lock your token, your USDC, for any specific amount of time. You can stake and unstake at any time, essentially, for that 200% APR. These are things that we may change in the future, but that's what they are for now. Just to give people the option. I mean, as confident as I am with my own project, and as much passion that I know my passion, I know my goals, I know where I'll take this, or where I intend to take it. However, an individual who just sees this in a DJing group and thinks it looks cool, they don't want to lock their token, their funds away for a month or maybe even 2 weeks, because they don't know, frankly, if that token is going to be around for 2 weeks. And I personally understand that. So we don't want to we don't want to restrict people, so to say, in that sense. Yeah. So that's the staking. We are actually dropping a BXB to BXB staking pool as well, and that is coming next week as well. So it's ready to go. It's the weekend at the moment. We're gonna roll that out with the BAS, basically our next product. There are a lot of seed sailors, who are really backing this project. Some big people in the scene. They're a lot of very experienced people who are really, really showing their support, publicly, but mostly privately, which is nice for myself as well, because it's my passion, it's my brainchild. But also it means that when these guys, because these guys are really eager to stake their BXB, that's all going to be on chain. So when people with so much confidence in a project, are putting their money into staking their BXB as well, not just the fact that the holder list shows that they're not selling, but they're also staking. That's going to be really cool as well. But so yeah, that's going to be pool number 2. It's BXB to BXB. I'm not going to drop the APR, the APY, or any further details. That's going to be detailed in a Medium on the day of the betting as a service bot release in a few days.
Okay, great, Cryptech. Let's go to the. You mentioned the buy and sell tax? What's the buy and sell tax for investors?
Well, is it okay, AC, if you roll on with that one, so I can have a swig of my drink? I've done a lot of talking, or do you want me to continue?
Yeah,
Either.
I'm happy to chime in
Got.
here. Yeah, so our current buy and sells tax is we have a buy of 6, which is 3 to the development and 3 to marketing, and then the sell is 6, and we have that go to rewards LP as well. So we had the taxes in the first beginning set a little bit higher for the airdrop, just because launch day there's a lot of volume. But now we're just back to 6.6, and we're using all that taxes. As you've seen, we've done a huge marketing campaign so far. Had billboards in Vegas, obviously for the gambling aspect. We've been trending on a lot of different networks, even on CMC. So we've been rolling that out, and with the other development funds, we're going to keep fine tuning the D app. We keep fine tuning our BAS, and the proof is going to be in the pudding. I know people get scared when there's a little dip on the chart, but we did that very strategically. So now we can build up with the true believers and people who really see what the vision of this project is. That's why we're very excited to be on such a big platform like you guys selves, and to really show ourselves to a new sea of investors to really understand what's going on here, because this is going to be a huge industry, not just us, but in general, GambleFi is going to be the next big wave in DeFi. You see a lot of big protocols coming up. Not that we're very similar to these, but even like Arcadium was a big one on Arbitrum Network, had a lot of eyes, a lot of volume. There's other, not necessarily competitors with us, but on Ethereum, but the bet, there's a lot of volume. So like people are interested in a lot in the GambleFi space. I feel like the last bull run, it was a lot of like DeFi and Ponzinomics and things like that. So like we think this might be the big meta for this next run. So we're in a very good place to be positioned now, building now. So like we're going to explode when the time comes.
I see. So, what's the marketing plans going forward? And with this betting as a service coming out soon, are you going to offer like a referral system for the investors to get their name out there for the betting service? And what's the marketing plans to get the betting service out there to invest?
Okay, so in terms of the referral system that you mentioned, we haven't got solid. That's not in our roadmap yet. I'm not saying it's not something we've discussed. I'm not saying it's something we won't do, but I'll be transparent. I'm not just going to say yeah, that's what we're going to do. No, that's not something that we have planned. A referral system, however, it's something that I believe would be definitely very beneficial. And we have a plethora of options of where we can take this. But in terms of marketing. Marketing can be used. The word marketing can be used, obviously, quite loosely, can't it? So I'm not a massive fan of me trying. Be careful with my words here. I'm not a massive fan of paying, or well, certainly we don't give tokens to like influencers, or we don't airdrop tokens to anybody, let alone influencers or TG callers or anything like that. But let me make that clear first. I've had some really bullish, and I'm not talking about influencers of like potential partnerships where they've wanted tokens, but we don't do that unless it's something real big. We don't give tokens out, and I'm not really a fan of paying like callers to get a short-term price pump on the chart. I mean, I could have done that throughout, the last week, and probably got it a lot higher after releasing that stage. After releasing the vested supply, look at the chart. There was a huge dump. We knew that was coming. We anticipated that, and we didn't. I actually stopped all of the trending services that we had going. I mean, we were trending all over Gecko Terminal search bar, most visited here and there, everywhere. I just received an email from CoinMarketCap. We're now verified with our blue tick. We've been getting a lot of good response and working hard on the CMC community, which has been paying off. And I'm a believer in just getting our name out there as we're rolling out our products, getting our name out there in places where in places where a lot of people may not notice. It's like having a flyer. The way I see marketing sometimes is like not about getting the most talked about Telegram or crypto Twitter influencer to send out a tweet, you're charging you 2 ETH and giving you a pump. No, I mean it's more about getting out there in places like the CMC community, which is starting to become quite popular. Things like working our way up to being number one on the search bar for Gecko Terminal for days. We're on the most viewed on pages there, trending in all sorts of all sorts of areas of CoinGecko communities and different regions. Things that we don't like really announce that much. It's not we're not taking a marketing approach like a heavy hitting marketing approach. But the way I see it, and the metaphor I like to use is like it's like you see a flyer on your car window, under your window wiper, like a flyer, a leaflet. You come out, you do your shopping in Tesco or whatever, and you come out, you see a piece of paper. The first time you see it, you screw it up, you throw it in the bin. Hopefully, it's not on the floor. No, you throw it in the bin. The next day, you'll see it, and you'll be like, what's this? Oh, this is annoying, Here it is again. You'll screw it up, you throw it in the bin. Might even be more annoyed. You might end up throwing it on the floor, but you should never do that, obviously, for obvious reasons. But then the third or fourth day, you see that, and the flyers for window cleaning, you notice that, and you're like, oh, actually, you might still that day still throw that leaflet away, and you sat at home. And all it takes is your wife to mention, you need your windows cleaned. And you're like, I know where. It's that thing that you keep seeing somewhere, but you don't realize it's kind of subliminal, yeah? And you don't realize how much of an effect it can have. So we focus a lot on getting out there. I mean, we've had our press releases published a couple of days ago, huge bunch of websites trending all over, just as we're rolling the projects out in their early stages. AC and I have been in a call with a blue chip on. AC, do you want to tell them a little bit about a potential partnership? Obviously, we're not allowed to disclose exactly what it is. But do you want to go ahead and tell them a bit about the kind of things that we're potentially going to be doing? Are you there, AC?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think basically what is going to happen next is I don't want to say exactly Monday, but when we release this BAS, we're going to really start our marketing push. We're expecting to get on the DEX trending with the volume that we're planning to bring. And once people see our fine-tuned products, they're going to understand this is an easy buy. And not only that, a lot of coins are easy buys, but this will be an easy hold because we're going to basically pay you to hold. Even the holders from day one, the reflections in USDC for just like a small bag have been in the hundreds of dollars. And it's only I don't even know, like not even 2 weeks old. So like you can imagine what that would do with compounding effect. Use that USDC, you buy more BXB. That's why we spend a lot of time on this flywheel effect, because it's something that even if you're not into sports betting, you could still understand and want to get involved in.
Sorry, I think I'm not sure if you if I was breaking up or you heard them, but we were talking about the market. We were going to go into talking about marketing and future marketing, and I started off by saying, firstly, I'm not a big fan of short term pumps. I take
Yeah,
a different
that's
approach,
what I
and then
mean.
I
The
was
marketing, it's gonna market itself. Like when people see how the flywheel works and the utility working, I'm a fan of showing products and letting the products do the marketing. And
I'm
then
yeah, I'm trying
people.
to. I don't want to say the name AC, because I don't think we can't. Well, we shouldn't so far. But what I'm saying is there are potential partnerships that we are in talks with. One being a very very large blue chip.
Oh, I thought I wasn't supposed to mention that. I don't think they would
No,
mind if
no,
we
no, no,
mention.
no, no, no. No, we won't mention the name. But what I would like you to talk about is the kind of thing that we talk with them about, that they want to work with us
Okay.
on. And this relates to marketing, because that in itself, that partnership, just one partnership out of many that we're in talks with, would just, absolutely blow this
Yeah.
out the window. So just, yeah, I wanted
So another
to,
big protocol, which is pretty well known, I'm pretty sure they're in the top 100 crypto coins, has
Mhm.
reached out to us about potentially changing how we host our servers, our DApps, and all the different things that we're doing onto their platform, and also helping us potentially bridge to different networks at the same time. So we'd be able to increase our speed and lower our costs through them. We had a very, very fruitful call with them last week, and they've even offered us to let us try them for free for the first week. And we're just setting up all our stuff in the back end to actually go ahead and do that in the very, very short term future. And like, if we become an official partner with them, they're very, very big. They even have a partnership with Microsoft, so I'll give a little hint to maybe who they are. And yeah, I think with the potential bridge to different networks and our speed going fast, right now we obviously don't have a ton of users, but once we have hundreds, potentially thousands of people making bets, we're going to want to have the fastest and cheapest servers out there.
that's it.
Okay,
Well said, mate.
sounds great. Let's open it up to Spaces questions. Let's see, we've got Aisha. You had a question for the Bet2Bank team here. Go ahead. Are you there, Aisha? No, it doesn't look like they are. But right, guys. Well, maybe we can do a recap with Spaces. There's a lot of organic growth throughout the AMA. We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. Do a recap for anyone that's joined later on, how it works, and then we'll go back to questions shortly.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Sorry. So, you want us to continue ourselves, or
No,
the community?
I've got Captain Levi. Captain Levi, you had a question for the Bet2Bank team. Go ahead. Are you there, Captain Levi? Sometimes there's a bug with Telegram, so I can't hear them, but you might be able to hear them. But is anyone speaking?
I can't hear them.
Okay, Aisha, Captain Levi, we've got. I'll set this up. Mario's been waving his hand for half an hour to speak. Mario, you had a question for the Bet2Bank team. It's just connecting now. Let's see if he comes through.
Yeah, all good, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me up to speak. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, actually, my question to Bet2Bank is that I have seen that you build your project regarding on ERC20, that is Ethereum blockchain, right? So I want to know, why do you choose to build your project on ERC20? And do you have any plan in the future to bridge with other blockchains like BNB, Polygon, Avax, Solana, etc.? That's my question to you guys.
Sure, great question. I think this is one for AC. I'm happy to answer it. I'll
Yeah,
talk for days, but
I just went over it. So basically, when we have this next meeting with the group I talked about, we're going to show them a little bit of our backend data, and they're going to show us because this is what they specialize in and how to bridge to all these other networks. But yeah, that's a great question, and I don't know if Solana would be possible, but all the EVM compatible networks, yeah, we really think that would take us to the next level. We started off on Ethereum. The obvious reason being is there's the most volume and it's the easiest for the average user to interact with us. But long term, yeah, if we're able to build what these guys are able to build with us, we're gonna go cross chain for sure, and for sure at a minimum Arbitrum, because obviously that network is picking up a lot of steam.
That's it. Arbitrum is definitely on the agenda for sure. Good question there. We went for ERC20 because that's where we kind of based. That's where we have our network, our connections, and it's our launch, our runway, let's say. But yeah, definitely planning to make the most of of the blockchains for sure.
Okay, I think that answers your question.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And please, what are the next upcoming event for this 2023? What people should be excited about this 2023?
Sure. Okay. So firstly, I'm sure you've had a look at our website and our roadmap. You'll see the wording phase 1 on our roadmap. That is I wrote that myself simply because I don't like to plan things ahead, a year ahead, because one, things can change between now and then. I don't like to mislead people, and you never know what's going to happen in this space. A week can be a month. So essentially, we are focusing on talking about what's happening here and now, and in the very short term. Now, if that interests people and brings them in, and hopefully it's going to do that very much so, they will then be there when we explain further steps. But yeah, in getting our betting as a service out there, building and tweaking and advancing, upgrading our P2P DApp, implementing more staking pools, and bringing a lot more exposure. That is all stuff within the next week. So I think I'm kind of comfortable by sticking with the way I work. I try to not promise too much, and try to it's better to not promise people too much, focus on the here and now. And I believe, maybe biased because it's our project, but I believe that what we have ahead of us just in the next week or so not only is unique and not been done before, but I think that's enough to let out of the bag for now. Yeah. So yeah, we won't go further than that for now.
Okay, I think that answers your question. I think we've got another question. Krish, you had your hand up. You had a question for the Bet2Bank team. Go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So my question is about regarding new crypto users. So what are your plans to convince more and more new crypto users to join your project? Like I have seen many new projects, they are only focusing on previous investor. Like I have seen many people, they are not know about anything in crypto. So what are your plans and tactics to convert that section of the that section into your project, to join your project? Thank you.
Okay, so well, I believe products speak for themselves. I won't say names, or I don't need to, but there are projects that are basically copying others in the same sector we're in GambleFi, that are doing very well, and they're bringing in new investors because of the price action. So people chase pumps, people chase price action. We don't want to do that. We're not copying anyone. We're literally creating something. I have created and deployed, and we have something that is at 100% unique. It's not been done before. It's not a copy. It's not a LARP. It's real. It's there. It's unique, And I think
Yeah, I was gonna say what's
that.
cool about it. It's a fusion. You know, no
Hmm.
one. We're not reinventing the wheel or having a whole new invention. The best things in any product is you take an existing product and you put your own spin on it. So not only do you take your own spin on Gamify, again, I want to stress this for all these users out there. We also took our own spin on the flywheel. So we're combining the best of old school DeFi bull run with hopefully the new school B run of Gamify. So you're getting a little taste of both, and like the proof will be in the pudding once this all starts coming into place. And the people that have been in since the beginning, even if the price isn't as high as it first was, they're getting their reflections. So they're getting more BXB. And when they get the more BXB, they're going to get more USDC. So as the volume ramps up and more people interact with our product, again, you're going to get paid to hold. Easy, easy hold.
Okay, great. I think that answers your question. Let's take a couple of more questions. Aisha, you had a question for Bet2Bank. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. As P2P betting requires two parties to agree on the terms of the bet, which may make it challenging to find a match for a particular bet, and this can result in delays or missed opportunities. I was wondering, will users be auto-matched for P2P betting, or one can select better they want to bet with? I mean, if two bettors are creating the same bet with same amount of tokens, will they be matched automatically?
Right. Actually, I'm glad that you've asked that actually, because it's reminding me to mention something. So, if this goes to you and anyone else, obviously, join our socials, our announcement channel on Telegram. Yeah, they'll all be available through this channel anyway. But there have been people in our Telegram. I think I might have shared a screenshot on Twitter, or I'm not sure. I can't remember. But we basically have this is a very good question, actually. So it's important because for a user who buys the token because they hear it's the new big thing or whatever, next week it's going to have a lot of hype and people will buy it just because of that. People might not be fans of betting, or they might be fans of betting, but they don't know that our products exist. They don't know if, how to be matched up with people, and yeah, and whatnot. So what we have is we have our P2P alert bot, which is something that every time a user places a bet and puts money down on any home or away football team match or whatever, this bot will then automatically, as soon as that bet's been placed, it just posts in a Telegram community. I know Telegram doesn't cover the whole of the whole spectrum of investors, but there's no way to cover everyone. But as we get bigger and we scale things out, this will be automated kind of in other ways. But we already have a P2P alert bot. So if you're in the Telegram community, we did stop it a couple of days ago. We're just going to drop it alongside the betting as a service DApp, because we're tweaking it. But yeah, when a user places a bet, the Telegram community will see kind of like a Bobby Buy bot, flashes up with all the green emojis. Creates the FOMO, like someone just bought, or a whale wallet's just bought, and then it makes people realize without looking at the chart that the price is going up. So it's a similar thing, similar kind of alert bot, but it says, for example, it's got obviously a GIF, customized new bet's been placed, and it will say user has just placed a 100 USDC wager on Manchester United to beat Liverpool. Challenge this user here, and it will have a direct link to that bet. So anyone who's in the Telegram community can see that that bet's been placed, and they can then go and challenge and contest it. Once that bet's been contested by one person, there's no way that somebody else can accidentally contest it or anything like that. No. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Hello?
No, I think we might have lost Aisha there. That made sense to me. Definitely Cryptech. Unfortunately, we've run out of time today, but it's been great speaking to Cryptech and AC from Bet2Bank.
Yeah, we really
Welcome.
appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks very much for coming. And as we say, Wellcoin Talk Spaces is for crypto education and research. We recommend you check out the website, the white paper. And if anyone's got any more questions, you can join the official socials through the Bet2Bank logos here. We've got two here with AC and Cryptech. Where does everyone mainly hang out? Is it on Telegram, guys?
Yeah, pretty much so. So Telegram is of basically t.me/bet2bank, Bet2BANK. Simple as that, Bet2Bank. Or we have an announcement channel as well. If you want to share that, that's Bet2Bank ANN. That's the announcement channel. Just the important announcements without the clutter, without the chat, without the community. And then our Twitter, of course, we're very active on Twitter and have a large presence on there. So spread across Twitter and Telegram mainly.
Okay, awesome. Thanks very much for coming, guys. Take care. It's been great speaking to you. And I'll finish the recording and that'll go out onto Twitter for everyone to listen back to for another 30 days. And I'll send that into our main chat as well for our community over on Telegram. Take care, guys.
Brilliant. Thanks for having us. Honestly, so really appreciate it, buddy. And thanks to all the listeners. Hope to see you in the chat. And I hope you're all there to experience what we drop next week. Really excited. I hope you are too. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, come join us in Telegram. Thank you.